Okay, but we felt, as it was October, and Felix had come as a very well-established comedian on both this circuit that I mainly work on and the so-called mainstream circuit, whatever that may or may not be. However, he was well-loved, well-liked, well-respected, and was certainly, for me as an individual, a beacon of what I call positive imagery. Be the chair of Felix's foundation. I know I'll relinquish that next year, but currently, in the time we've had the foundation in charity, I'm really proud of some of the things that we've done, and some of these people will speak this evening, just to say you won't be stuck with myself.
I'm very pleased with the level of togetherness and support that we have seen demonstrated this evening. Felix Dexter had a lot to offer, and it is important for all of us to continue his legacy. We at the High Commission of St. Kitts and Nevis are here to support you and to collaborate with you whenever you need us. Together, we can build a better and more prosperous St. Kitts and Nevis. In November, we are relaunching the St. Kitts and Nevis Young Professionals. We hope to have as many young nationals join us to build a strong and effective network that we could add value to the Federation through our ideas, skill sets and vision.
I am aware that you will not come across many commissioners that look or sound like me, and I think that is a very good thing because it shows the direction that the BBC are going in. I feel like if somebody came in who was as talented as Felix and had all of the due diligence and all of the amazing ideas that he puts into his pitches come my way, then it would be a no-brainer to take that further. So what you were talking about is a story of BBC past. I hope that I am one of the many faces of BBC future, and one of the things that I really appreciated in my first year joining the comedy team was being put in charge of the bursary. I think it's one of the most important things that we're doing at the moment. It's a really, really great project for me to be involved in, and I'm very, very passionate about having more people that don't look and sound or come from the backgrounds of everyone that we think works at the BBC. I love surprising people with who's behind this and who wrote that and who stars in this and where ideas come from. And I'm really, really proud of the work that we've done with the bursary so far. Last year we found 2 writers, Johnny and Leah, who are in the middle of the room there. They produced incredible work in their 6 months with us. We sent them on set with people. They pitched into programs that I look after, that other people look after. They pitched in sketches for Familand, which is a show that I'm very, very proud of at the moment. They are now that they are outside of the bursary, they are still talking to producers, they're still writing things. Leah's just had something commissioned, Johnny's just had something optioned. They both have pitches that are coming towards radio and BBC Two at the moment, and they're very much plugged in to the industry now. I think it's really important and really satisfying that when I go to shows and when I meet people out and about at comedy shows and things, and they say, oh, I met Johnny the other day, oh, I met Leah the other day, they're really exciting, tell us more about who's coming down the line.
It's really apt that we're at this High Commission because St. Kitts meant so much to Felix. It really did. I'm quite fortunate to spend some time with him at the hospice before he sadly passed. And we're able to discuss with him the possibility of having a legacy, celebrating all the hard work he did, and St. Kitts was at the centre of all of that, and we kind of talked about all different ways that we can do it, and one of the things we said is that we'd build a big statue of him at the airport in St. Kitts when everyone came through. See a big statue with his big face in St. Kitts Airport, and he was so excited about the prospect of being celebrated in St. Kitts. It was unbelievable. I was actually with him. He took a phone call on his bed from someone who was organising an event for St. Kitts, and he was supposed to be performing, and unfortunately, obviously, he wasn't well, and he had to tell the person that he couldn't make it, and he couldn't tell them the real reason. But when he came from that phone call, he was devastated that he couldn't actually go and perform, despite the fact that he was so ill. He took his adoration of St. Kitts absolutely seriously. He was very, very strong supporter. One last incident about St. Kitts, we flew together to Grenada in 1995, holiday, and we were flying over, and the pilot said, you know, if you look to the right, you'll see St. Kitts, and he burst into tears because he hadn't been back. He'd left, but he was quite young, and he hadn't been back for a very long time, and he just burst, a big grown man, he just burst into tears. He was, you know, he was absolutely passionate about St. Kitts. So it's a pleasure, it's an honor for me to work with the foundation to celebrate his legacy in St. Kitts. We've started it. I think you're going to hear a few more about what they're doing in St. Kitts, and I urge you all to support the foundation, everything they're doing in Felix's honor. Thank you very much.
One of the reasons I joined the foundation, I love comedy, and obviously laughing is one of the best remedies for anything. And I grew up watching Felix Dexter, and even now I still go back and watch some of his material because you can't watch it without laughing. And for me that's a great thing. Then when I heard that he'd actually left a legacy to go back to St. Kitts and support the children and to build something in St. Kitts, to me that's a tremendous thing. Many people talk about what they could or would do, but this is a man that, you know, on his last legs, he said, this is something I'm going to do, and he's committed to that. So I'm proud to actually be part of that. I was fortunate enough to actually go to St. Kitts. What a beautiful island. Yeah. I can understand why his passion, and he could be reduced to tears not going back. I went, I fell in love with it, and I'll be going back every opportunity I get. So look out for me, because I'll be there. But what I did find when I got there was the island itself it's rich. The people are really wonderful. I mean, I was from the beginning to the end. I was met, I was chaperoned, I was taken all over the island, along with a colleague that is not here, Ian, who was also part of the foundation and really helped to develop the bursary. We went and we visited every single school on the island. We were tasked with trying to find a school to give the money to. I wish I could have given it something to everybody, but obviously we had to wheedle it down to just the one, and we're going to be doing that for the next few years. What I would say is that one of the things that I find that is really important, and we've got to be honest, in terms of what we do and how we behave, it's important that when somebody's giving you something, that you understand that you need to be talking about it. We need to be telling people exactly what's happening, what people are putting into something. A lot of work goes on behind the scenes, and actually bringing you all here today is about helping us to actually build a bigger and better foundation. I don't put my name to anything that doesn't work. So it has no choice but to work. And we're asking everyone in this room to contribute, even if it's just coming to a meeting, even if it's just attending an event that we're putting on, even if it's just telling a friend. All of that makes a difference. And in order to do this work, to build the legacy for the children, not for us, for the children. Yeah, and when you go to the islands and you see how important education is to them, when you see the talent, I went to some shows that were put on by young people, I was blown away. And I think that, you know what, the standards that we have overseas is really not recognized. So what Felix has left here is really fantastic. The four young people who actually got an opportunity to be part of, you're now part of Felix's legacy. As a result of what he has been able to contribute, you have something to stand up and say, do you know what, this is someone that I can look at and I want to go on. You need to pass the mantle. You need to keep it going. Yeah, we all do. So I hope that you will join us, become part of us. We've got your names, and I'm asking everyone's permission here to use all of the photos of today so that we can put them on the website so that people can actually see that we are here and we are trying. It's not going to happen overnight. Things take time. So please don't think, if you don't hear from us for a little while, it's not because we're not working, it's because we have to build stuff. Yeah? So we will be asking you for your help. Thank you very much.
With regard to when I heard what happened to Felix, and I knew he was a passionate Arsenal supporter, and what I decided to do, I thought to myself, what can I do, right, that he would really appreciate? What can I do? Yeah? Apart from putting him straight about Wenger and etc. And what I decided to do at that time, I had a few people that I know, a couple of contacts and whatever, and I was able, within 3 weeks' notice, to get the 60,000 Arsenal programme. It's all 60,000 people that attend, making up for every way to buy. A bio, which I was able to write and get his picture in there. And they actually put that in. And normally, to get something in the Arsenal programme, one, you have to be somebody, and two, right, you need 3 months. I was able to get that with the people that I knew within 3 weeks. Okay? And I was really happy about that, because I know he would be happy about that. Yeah. But on top of that, I was able to get, as Jeff did allude to, a letter, signed, personal letter to Felix, signed by Arsene Wenger. Just because Felix, I was and I was the Arsenal manager at the time. So, and I thought, that's something again that he would appreciate. And I wanted to do something that would help or make sure that he would be remembered. Okay? And I knew that's something that he would greatly appreciate. And that made me really, really happy. And for me to be here, and of course I'm up to help if I can, in whatever way I can. But for me to be here, it's an honour, and I just hope, right? I just hope that what I did, I believe that he saw all of that. He saw what I've done. I believe that. Anyway, okay.
Because on the shoulders of Felix, you get Rudy Liquid, you get Marcus Simmons. On the shoulder of Felix, you get Keith Palmer. You get Kojo, you get Quincy, you get Glenda, you get Axel Foley, you get all those comedians that you see now busting it on mainstream circuit through Felix Dexter.
I want to share this with you, and we go back a long way. In the 80s, when I did my first open mic, my first one, and it was an old comedy store right on the corner of Leicester Square. I didn't know nothing about comedy, I didn't. And I went up. I said to Arthur Smith was there, and Steve Coogan, and Felix Dexter. I had to go out and actually watch Felix perform, because what I look up to. I thought, wow, this guy, there wasn't even black comic. It was just myself, Marge Crawford, Felix Dexter, and Sheila Hyde. They were the only people who do the circuit. All the rest were bouncers, yeah? I want to share with you, and I never knew nothing about comedy. I got to share this with you. I knew nothing, because I said, what do I do when I went up there? So what I said, my first open mic at a comedy store, I said, what do I do? So Arthur Smith said to me, enjoy it. So I went up and I did my little whatever, I did a Tarzan joke, blah, 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 went down where, then blah, blah. Then I come off the stage and I asked Felix for advice. Felix said I need to link jokes. Now, I never knew nothing about linking. So he taught me that. I never shared that with many people. He taught me about linking and getting out there and enjoying it, So, I'm just keeping it short and sweet, but this brother was like, for me, he was a pioneer. And more than that, he showed the way for us of black comics today who don't know. They don't know that Felix Dexter, he's the man, and he's always been the man. Bless you.
So I was in the men's department of Selfridges looking at the things that I couldn't afford. And I saw this guy who I've seen on TV who was like a legend to me, the guy who made me understand what the word "hue" meant. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're the guy from the Real McCoy, Felix. And he was like, oh yeah. And what had happened was that I spoke to him about my love of comedy, and he spent half an hour in Selfridges talking to me about comedy and why I should do it, and his love and passion for it. I've met a lot of famous people in my life, Muhammad Ali, various other people, and I've never been so starstruck as I was with Felix. And the fact that he just gave me that one-to-one time, which was wonderful. And the fact that at the time I was in between jobs and deciding what to do, and I didn't even have a piece of paper on me, and all I had was my one £10 note, and I said, could you sign this for me, please? And he wrote on there, to Mr. C, one love, Felix. And I've kept that £10 note for like 3 weeks before I had to spend it.
I never give a comic a mic.
But the physical and the spiritual is two different. And how he touched people physically and what he gave to people sometimes was more than money. He gave us his time, his love, his passion for it. And he was the first comic who, again, when I came into this business via the comedy school, he was the first comedian who said to me, he came to me, he said, see, I like what you're doing with the shows and everything. I'm doing a show in London. I want you to produce a show in London and do all the marketing for it. And he was the first comic of his stature to do that for me. So from the bottom of my heart to the top of this game, he will ever live in our life. And Felix Dexter, ladies and gentlemen. God bless.
I'm just going to say, pick up what Rudy said. Felix is one of those comedians who didn't deliver the material in a way that most black comics at the time were from a Jamaican background, and he made audiences realise that you could do comedy in different accents. And I remember when I done one of my first gigs being from the East End and Bajan, he said to me, promote where you're from and be proud of where you're from. I still got booed, but it was... I didn't want to say that. It was there, but at the end of the day, he said to me, persevere what you've got. So I just got to say, Felix is one of the reasons why I'm still doing comedy, and I always pick up his name, and I'm one of the guys, as Rudy said, I travel around the country and I've gone to places as far as Arbroath and done shows, and guys, he said, you know Felix? I'm like, yeah, I do. So, yeah.
Some London Underground, they wanted that character, they wanted to, and I didn't know he was ill. He kept it for me a long while, and he came out of his hospital bed, Jeff, and did the gig. He had someone to drive him, he did the gig, and he was treated like how he should have been treated. He was treated like a king at that gig. They were so kind of honoured that he'd turned up. It's the first time since I've known Felix that he turned up 10 minutes later than he said he would. He was always punctual. And I thought, oh, something's on. And then I had to get someone to do a little bit of a warm-up. And actually, when he got there, it was like he was at home. Yeah, and he got treated really well. And his driver, who I thought was his nurse, who I know now was a nurse at the time, and he kind of revealed it all. But it was just a testimony, because he did phone up and said, do I need to do this gig? I said, listen, it's just your name on the bill. They're coming here to see you, basically. But if you can't make it, you can't make it, I understand. And actually, he got out of his bed, ladies and gentlemen, his hospice bed, now I found out, to do this gig. And, you know, a testimony to that phrase, the show must go on.
I loved Felix, and he loved me. When he was in the hospice, the first day I went to see him, he said, Pete, I'm in a nappy, and I went, oh, that's disgusting, what's that about? And he said, I know, but I have to say to you, you did a job just recently and they did you wrong. And I went, Felix, what are you talking about? He said, no, anyway, whatever job it was, he said they did you wrong. And I said, baby, you shouldn't even be thinking about that right now, because we're thinking about you. That was the measure of the man. And I loved that. The fact that we were working together back in a time where, you know, we used to go to the BBC to do the Real McCoy, and they'd be scared of us because they went, oh my God, all these black people are turning up, they're loud. And seriously, they would be like, oh my God, it's going to be noisy. But they loved it, but they were afraid of it. And you kind of go, what is that about? So we were at an extraordinary time in history. The fact is that that legacy has gone on, and we are still here, and we are still, sister, we are still doing stuff, and we are changing things. So that's important, and that's wonderful and beautiful. And so I have to say, Felix, wherever you're there, I thank you, and I love you.
lights down low and upon your window curtain. Oh, let your moon come shining into our lives again, saying, oh, it's been a long, long time. I got this message for you, boy, but it seems I was never on time. Still I wanna get this to you, boy, on time. I wanna give you some love. I wanna give you some good, good loving. Oh, I wanna give you some good, good loving. Turn your lights down low, yeah. Never ever try to resist, oh no. Oh, let your love come flooding in.